to the Quality of Life podcast. My name is Erin and I am a businesswoman and mother who has been studying personal growth for over 15 years. I've tried almost all of the habits and hacks out there. My goal is to use my real-life experience to show you which tricks and habits make the biggest changes to your quality of life with the least amount of time and energy on your part. We will cover everything from habits to hacks, fitness to family, and everything in between. Now, let's dive on into today's topic. Hey guys, thank you for joining me today. Have you ever been well on your way, gaining momentum in a new venture, a new business, a relationship, a hobby, or a job, and then all of a sudden, something comes out of left field and about takes you out at the knees? What do you do? That's the topic of this week's episode. But quickly, I just wanted to check in on last week's homework. Have you been able to control just a little bit better what you want to feel and not to become a victim of it? Well, I hope you have your list of your 5 to 10 bait and switch in your pocket as we speak. Okay, back to this week's episode. Disaster. Unwanted change and unfortunate events, threatening the path that you're on, the people you love, or the dreams in your heart. When I think back to the mile markers in my life, those events that I thought would destroy me, oh my gosh, there are so many. From getting pregnant my first year at college, to going bankrupt. How about losing my home? Having to put down horses and, dogs that I've had for 14 years. And most recently, selling my business. Sometimes God has to not only close the door, but slam it, lock it, and deadbolt it to make us change our course. And sometimes he has to make it so clear and maybe even a little painful for us to listen. But in each of those life-altering events, I can look back and see how my life would have been limited if he hadn't course-corrected me. I used to be so quiet about all of these things that happened in my past. Ashamed, really. Especially when all the people I looked up to never seemed to talk about their failures. All it were people who were making it, winning it, and doing it, and achieving things, and they had the perfect Instagram life or Facebook life, and I didn't know that there was a whole nother side to their lives. And that most of them were there because of their failures. But when I look back now at those things that could have been failures, I think of them like merit badges on a scout's belt. I pushed through the things that I think could have destroyed my future, my hope, and my faith, and I earned those lessons. So when life throws a wrench into your plans and you've got to deal, there has been some things that I have found to make it through to the other side or pivot, and you might be able to use them too. So here's a few things that might help you. Step 1, have your pity party. Yep, that's right. Sulk, cry, get angry, ask God, why me? All of the emotions that are coming up, allow them. Feel them. But here's the key. Only allow so much time. Each circumstance warrants its own time frame, but really only allow as many minutes, hours, or days that it takes to process your feelings. Notice I didn't say weeks or months or years. Every moment that you stay in this stage borrows time from your next stages, keeping you from moving onward and upward. So feel all the feels. Cry all the tears, or if you're like me, punch and kick that heavy bag, or crush a workout and move on to step 2. Okay, step 2. Harness your inner coach or drill sergeant, really, and use some tough love. Tell yourself, so this painful, horrible, no good, yada yada thing happened, but you're still here. Maybe kicking and screaming, but you're here, which means you've still got some work to do. Goals to crush, dreams to accomplish, so get your butt out of that pity party and start looking for step 3. I make this a step, but it's really just a choice. Choose life. Choose your future. Because that wrench is now in the past. You can't change it. You can't do anything about it. And now you can change how you look at it and what you do next. So, step 3. Learn any lessons that might be embedded in this. I use the word embedded because if you're not actively looking for them, they can easily be overlooked. So I am a firm believer that all things in my life happen for me and not to me. So I have to ask myself this question. Did this happen to stop me, teach me, test me, or to protect me? Now let me break that down just a little bit. Sometimes we get so hell-bent on doing something that we fail to see the warning flags along the way. Our stubborn nature makes us blind to them, or maybe that's just me. So something serious has to happen to stop you. Or sometimes we get thrown the curveball to teach us that we are stronger, smarter, or better than we think we are capable of being. And if we never had to deal with this thing, we'd never gain the courage or the self-confidence if we hadn't. And sometimes we get tested by our circumstances to see how bad we want it or if it's worth it. This is also the point where you get a chance to reevaluate your current trajectory to see if the goal or the end is worth what you are giving up or going through to get there. And sometimes the wrench is thrown in the machine to protect you from making a terminal error, one that could really keep you from becoming the person you were meant to be. So what could be the lesson in this? If you find out you have gone beyond this and have just stepped into the next level. My bankruptcy helped me to learn that credit was a tool. And just like a hammer, it could be used as the tool that it is to pound in a nail, but it could be just as easily used to beat the crap out of you. So I learned never to abuse my credit cards or debt. That was a huge lesson. The birth of my son made me tougher. It made me work harder, hustle more, taught me a new level of love, and kept me from pursuing the dream I had of becoming a horse vet. If I hadn't course corrected, I would have never started Hey Chicks, and I wouldn't have been able to help hundreds of thousands of horses and their humans. And if I hadn't been forced to decide if I were to take full ownership of my last business or to sell my half to my business partner, I wouldn't have ever been in a position to start this new podcast, and I would never be able to help you. And I know it had to happen the way that it did, or I would have kept on pushing and made it work. But then only the people that I worked with would have ever had access to these messages. But now I get to help so many more people. I heard someone say once that when you feel hurt or holding on to pain or resentment over someone who screwed you over or left you or hurt you, they didn't reject you. God hid your value from them because they are not assigned to your destiny. Think about that. Okay, moving on to step 4. Start over, start again, or reroute. You know when you're driving and you're following the GPS on your phone and you miss an exit or stop to pee or an accident closes down the road along your way, what does it do? It reroutes and gives you a new plan. It's not a huge deal, but if you don't move forward, you'll never reach your destination and you'll never gain ground. When you determine what the lesson in your mess was, it's going to give you the key to know if your GPS is taking you the right way or even to the right city. This step is often not taken. Most people tend to go back to the pity party in step 1 and stay there. Well, let me tell you that if Thomas Edison hadn't rerouted and started over 2,774 times to invent the light bulb, this world would be a much darker place. His famous quote kind of encapsulates all that. I have not failed 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. The key here is to not get sucked backwards by guilt, by shame, or discouragement. Control what you can and let the rest go. No matter what, keep moving forward. It's all part of a grander plan. So the next time that life throws a wrench in your plans, I hope that this toolkit can help you find out the lesson in the mess and you keep moving forward. It will eventually happen again, but now you can be ready with a plan to deal with it effectively. All of these things that happen are for you. I have had so many times that people, jobs, dreams have all been shuffled up that I feel like a Texas Hold'em game, but these are all experiences on your resume. If you hadn't had them, you would not be qualified to live the life that you are called to. So this week's homework is to think back to the last event that almost broke you. Whether it was losing a friend, a job, or a partner, or was it an injury or an illness or a failure? Take out a blank sheet of paper and write out all of the lessons that you learned from it. Think hard. Spend at least 10 minutes of writing. Doing this is going to help you to not have another opportunity to learn the same lesson. There have been so many times that I've had the reoccurring opportunity or theme to learn the same lesson. But if you learn from it, you won't have to relive it over and over again. Well, guys, I have one more tool for you to use. A little over a year ago, when I was going through whether or not I should sell my company, I prayed this prayer. And if you believe in something other than God, you can tailor it to your belief system. It goes like this. God, I thank you for my current circumstances. I really want to pass this test so I can reach the levels that you have in store for me. Help me to learn the lessons quick and with grace. In Jesus' name, amen. Use it anytime you need it. And use it often. Well, guys, I hope that I have armed you with a bunch more tools for your toolbox. If you found some value in this episode, please share it because so many people could use this information for the next time the bottom falls out. Thank you so much for listening, and please share it and rate it. And I will see you guys next week on the Quality of Life podcast. Bye. Thanks for listening to today's episode. Be sure to check us out on the Quality of Life podcast, Facebook and Instagram pages, and our website, theerinolson.com, for downloads and more information. That is TheErinolson.com. Stay up to date by joining our email newsletter. Together, we can improve all of our quality of life.